Thank you, Atlam. We're also adding vertical streaming back into the mix because now multiple platforms are all supporting it through Streamlabs, so I'm giving it a go today. Our TikTok's been working just fine, so I was going to flip back to vertical there because that's the preferred thing. And then YouTube has offered it now for a while, and now so does Twitch. So I'm streaming both widescreen and vertical. Hey, Jim, how are you? Hope you had a lovely weekend. Atlam, how are you today? Hey, Tina, welcome back. Hello, Constantine. How are you today? In fact, how is everyone today? I'm not getting a live feed from Steam yet. I am wonderful. Thank you, everyone, for asking. Steam is up for you? There it is. Just went live for me, too. Took a minute. You had an amazing session yesterday, so the week has started off great. Same here. Same here, Tina. Wait, are you on my table? So welcome back. Oop, just bumped the mic accidentally. It is not muted. Welcome back, one and all, to the weekly stream, the Mapmaker Monday stream. My name is Mac. I am the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. Today we are going to be working or continuing work on our Ice Palace, which for those of you that are new to the stream today, we'll show you shortly what I mean. But just think a big foreboding ice castle in the middle of a forest. In fact, let me show you. Just noticed the damn challenge theme was moved. Anyway, so this map here is what we are working on. It is actually a rather extensive build that we started a few weeks ago. And we've got a sort of ice fortress slash castle. Which, when viewed from above, looks like a snowflake. Which, most of this work was done, in the last few weeks. This is a massive multi-level structure where we figured out the staircases in the interior. Now we're working on windows. So at the moment, going through and adding windows symmetrically throughout the design, kind of playing with various window placement, and trying to just make it look clean, because I like symmetry in my designs whenever I can, afford to offer it. Anyway, so today's stream we will be focusing on this build, continued work on it, adding windows and the various layers, as we go vertically. And then once we get done with all the windows, I'm going to go down to the bottom and decorate these kind of courtyard areas, the little exterior areas here with some like plants or icicles or crystals or something. I don't know. We'll figure something out. Kind of thinking about it still. I just want to ask for everyone watching, depending on the platform you're watching, how the view's coming through and how the sound's coming through. We're live on, multiple platforms at the moment. And multiple, like outputs on multiple platforms. So we're live on 5 different platforms. Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Steam. And on Twitch, YouTube, and we're streaming both landscape and portrait, so widescreen and vertical. So both platforms are present and available depending on what you're watching or how you're watching. And then we also on TikTok are just streaming exclusively vertical today. Twitch alerted me that they now offer this feature, and now YouTube's had it for a bit. So I figured we might as well dual cast, give it a try. So everyone had a great weekend, I hope. Did you get any session prep in? Did you get any playing in? Did you play as a player or as a DM? Let's hear about your sessions if you got some game time in. If you only got some session prep in, let's still hear about that. Excuse me, this cough. Oh my goodness, I don't know where it came from. Anyway, thank you everyone for the feedback that the sound and video are good, both in vertical and horizontal. Very much appreciate it. As this is kind of the first time we've done it on multiple platforms. Jim, no. You need to start like DMing a game or something. Alrighty, so I think where we last left off, I was working on the windows around this area here, trying to figure out what to put where. And I think I was deciding between these short windows on the corners and the tall windows on the corners. Because if you look like this window clearly extends the top above the top, but it's a nice little window treatment or like an added arch. So it does add a little bit of flair to the corners here. Which do you all like better? Do you prefer the shorter window that allows you to see the rooftop and the spire better on the corners? Or do you like the taller window frame that allows you to get this new kind of added feature? Pazuzu! Okay, so Tina says, my session went great. My players are uncovering details of a cult that is trying to bring back Pazuzu. Fantastic. That's super cool. Some of you asked me earlier how my weekend was. It went well. Did some things around the house, cleaning up, various tasks. My grandfather gave me a finish sander and a bunch of tools he gave me last summer. And I only just started using it this last couple of weeks to do some sanding on some 3D prints that I was working on. And the palm sander still works great, but it has like a padded surface that you stretch the sandpaper over. And that padded surface is just messed up. And I looked online and I found replacement ones on Amazon. So I ordered a pack and I refurbished it and replaced it. It looks really good. And I can't wait to start using that because then the sanding will be even that much better. Because I love the device. It works great, but then it was a little rough in some spots because the pad underneath the sandpaper had some pock holes in it, you know? Anyway, I was proud of myself that I was able to do that, even though it was like just a simple thing to do. So did the taller ones are nicer? You think so, Constantine? Anyone else have feedback on the windows? Lord Rev says, played last Tuesday. 3 of the party members basically refused to help me bring our 5th party member onto our boat before they made it dive underwater. Magic. We made it, but almost drowned. So now we are plotting on how to make the party pay. Huh. Interesting. Okay. I mean, okay. Sounds like a spicy PvP party. Fully plan on stealing the magic keystone that activates the ship's abilities. I may or may not sell it or give it to some random NPC. You could just stash it somewhere. A little petty. I mean, that seems very petty. I'm not gonna lie. Seems very petty, Rev. Oh my goodness. So Rev over on Twitch says, played last Tuesday. 3 of the party members basically refused to help me bring our 5th party member onto the boat before they made it dive underwater. Magic. We made it, but almost drowned. So now we are plotting on how to make the party pay. So some revenge on the other party members who just, left their party members to the winds. We kind of have a motto in my group. It's never let the party die. So honestly, we've never had, we've had some people get downed and some death saves and stuff, but we've never lost a party member to death. And we're pretty proud of that. So I personally would rather run away from a fight than risk everyone dying if it's going to happen. Regroup, live to fight another day. But in this case, they definitely wronged you, by leaving you to drown or not get to them in time. Were you running away from something? Was there really a reason for them to abandon you? A go on without us type situation, or was it them being kind of jerks? Sounds kind of like the latter, but I would love to hear the full story. I think I'll put the big window here. Okay, so we've got windows down this side. We've got these. Can I fit? It adds a lot more window light. Does that look fantastic? So that's pretty rough, man. That's kind of brutal, actually. Are they even playing the same game with y'all? It is a team, group exercise, right? A group storytelling game. That's pretty rough, man. I'm sorry they did that to you. I don't think we'd ever abandon our like teammates that way unless they wanted to be. Like our group is not like that. That's a good question, Atlan. I think down in the bottom you can switch to vertical or you can switch to horizontal. At least on PC there's like an option next to the clip thing. By the way, there's a new feature on Twitch where if I say a certain combination of words, it will make a clip automatically. So it's like a voice command. So if something interesting happens or we do a tutorial, from now on, I'm going to say the command and we'll automatically get a recording. But I think on mobile, you probably just flip it vertically and it probably switches, or maybe there's an option to switch between formats. But the downside is, Atlam, I've got to build that habit of saying that, you know? Which, not a bad thing. At the end of the day, I just got to start remembering. Ain't gonna use those there, so... that doesn't work either. It's a good little symmetry there. At the moment, I'm just trying to add lots of windows to give a lot of natural light. Yeah, I don't know if there's multiple chat feeds. It looks like there's probably only one, which is nice. Like Twitch seems to have figured it out, which is great. I apologize. It's very new to me, too. I'm learning as we go. So we've got windows, kind of figure out what we're doing here around the base floor, at least. I'll just keep adding these. All the way around the outside edge. By the way, I'm holding shift whenever I place a window, and it automatically duplicates it when you do that. It's a good shortcut to help you speed up your builds, especially if you're going to be placing a lot of the same object over and over and over again. Good idea. So, would anyone like to hear about my bonus D&D session yesterday? Oh, look who it is. It's Eric. I just look up and wouldn't you know it? How you doing today, Eric? Great session yesterday. Thank you. Hope you're well. That actually looks really nice. Might just add doors here to go out into the like courtyards. Like an arch or something. We'll figure it out. Too big. Something like that, maybe. Just gonna put some sculptures and stuff out here. That other one's too large for the inside because there's a wall on the inside here, and I don't want it breaching into that. Because then the part of the window will kind of ride over this edge. Well, the session was great. The group really enjoyed it. Thanks again, man. And I hope you have a lovely day. Thank you for the lurk. So our session yesterday, bonus session, as I mentioned before, which means we only get together once a month. And yesterday was our second session of the month. And it was within 1 week of the previous session. And that is very rare, it was really fun to get together, twice in a month. But not only twice in a month, but twice within a week's time. There's been a couple of times where like we've played in the previous month and then the next month we played, a week or two later. So it kind of worked out like that in the past, but in the same month, never. So it was quite awesome. Anyway, getting to the point, when we met up, we were already like, in an area kind of ready to kind of get into combat. We made a couple last moment decisions and kind of prepped ourselves for going forward. Our sorcerer, who had a Helm of Comprehend Languages, cast that on himself. We gentle reposed one of the bodies we had of one of the drow we had seen forging documents, or in an area where we found forged documents and a forgery kit on him. So naturally, we assume that he'll have information for us. So we kept his body in good condition. So maybe we can do Speak with Dead later with him, or raise him from the dead and talk to him, revivify him, whatever. Anyway, and then we kind of made a strategy going forward that we're going to try and pinpoint every area we go to, the leader, and try and capture them, knock them out with non-lethal blows if we can. It's not always optimal, but it's possible. That way we can get more intel and like kind of understand what's going on here. Because not everything was what we were led to believe so far, and so we're just trying to get a clearer picture, right? My son is a changeling, and he has disguised self, so he combined that to make himself look like one of the drow from, our first encounter of combat, and made his clothes identical. And then he went around the corner to where there was another drow kind of standing guard, and it was at this point he realized he couldn't speak drow, but he could understand drow because he had comprehend languages, but he couldn't speak it. So the guy was like asking him questions and stuff, and he got by with a little bit of sign, like a little bit of nonverbal communication, grunts and yeah, thumbs up, okay, whatever. And it was funny. It was quite hilarious because we were like around the corner just kind of waiting. And I had snuck up with him because I was invisible. So I was there as like backup just in case things went awry. And he had convinced the guy to go get him a drink because he was like, and the guy's like, do you need a drink? I'll be right back. And he went to go get a drink, the guard, and our group ran into the room and got in position on the other side of the room. And then he brought the drink over to him and he was like helping him. And then my son was like, I'm just going to say something in common and hopefully he understands me. He said something and the guy's like, are you okay? And then he went to like touch him and stuff. Like obviously a changeling, he wouldn't notice a difference, but things were kind of getting spiraling. And so I decided to take action. We had just in the previous encounter, there was like silence in the area behind us where we'd just moved from, sitting there that was still cast. And I decided to teleport this drow into the silence using Vortex Warp. It's like one of my favorite spells. It saved our teammates a couple of times. It has, I've used it to hurt or damage enemies by like, putting them inside of like lava or, just teleporting them away so they're not as big of a menace. But in this case, teleporting them into the silence was very useful because he couldn't cast or yell or scream for help. And we used that to our advantage. We all unloaded on this guy and just like tried to take him out really quickly. It was pretty cool. To be honest with you, it was just funny because it's just the one guy, but we were worried other people would come in from all these other doors in this room because there was 3 doors. So we essentially took this guy out as quick as we could. And then decided, hey, we've got 3 doors. I had detect magic on, so I was kind of vibing through different walls, seeing what was beyond them. And we opted to go to the left door. And in there was like an armory. There was a construct and a drow. Took them out in a couple of rounds. Our main like heavy hitter frontliners pushed into the room while the rest of the casters kind of stayed back and just kept throwing hits. Took those guys out, and then we could see a room above us labeled jail and a room below us labeled barracks. So we, thought, well, let's clear the barracks first, because the jail might have people actually jailed there, like the people we're here to save, the dwarves that we're like trying to rescue. And so we decided to take out the guys in the barracks first, and there were like 3 or 4 drow in there, one of which was a like caster who was casting a spell, like messing around with a spell when we like busted in and surprised them with a surprise round. I did something drastic while we were kind of like all bunched up around this door, and none of us could get past the drow holding us at the door, and all of our teammates were like bunched around it. I used Misty Step to get into the room to see what was going on, and I'm just like this halfling, not a lot of HP. I didn't know what I was getting into, but I Misty Stepped into the room as my bonus action, and the second I got into the room, I turned invisible using my ring of invisibility, and then I moved from that position as far away as I could, and then I laid down and like took cover next to a bed, or like just crouched and took cover next to a bed. As a halfling, it gives me normal cover pretty much. So these drow in this room, there was 3 of them, I think, that saw me, and the other one at the door that was fighting the dudes on my team trying to push in. They all freaked out trying to get at me, tried different spells. One tried to fairy fire me and missed. He hit the whole room pretty much. Not even joking you. The fairy fire missed me by like a square. It just was funny because I was able to just completely like Bilbo Baggins these dudes, but in the most dangerous way. Okay, so I essentially was invisible, hiding next to a bed. My son, he's like, I'm gonna help my dad, and he casts darkness into the room. I have true sight at the moment, so I can just see right through this darkness. On my next turn, like all these drow trying to hit me, swinging around the room, casting around the room, missing, shooting around the room, not able to get me. Now darkness is in the room, blocking them from seeing out of the room and most of the room. I cast Shillelagh on my quarterstaff, and then I just run into the darkness. I run up to the guy we think is the leader, and I just smack him with Shillelagh with non-lethal blows, and I just keep moving away and hiding in the darkness, hoping he won't see me because it's magical darkness. They can't see me at all. And I am like a ninja, like a little halfling ninja, running through the darkness, avoiding the enemies, tagging this guy over and over that I wanted to capture. And he tries to run away. I get an opportunity attack on him and non-lethal blow and knock him out. So this is where a really interesting conversation comes up in our game that I want to share with you all, that I want there to be some context. But anyway, so at several points in our games, we have captured enemies and interrogated them, or like a boss, to make it easier on us. Like we'll capture them with a grapple or a net or some kind of like a web or something, and then try to, essentially make it so it's harder for casters to cast spells by putting like a bag over their head or gagging them, or we'll get manacles on them so they can't use their hands, or they have to do a huge save to get out, just to bind them so we can actually get some questions answered, or, maybe they have a bounty on them, whatever, various reasons, okay? In this case, the drow, they're always going to attack us, but we want to get some questions answered, so we're going to capture this guy and try to ask questions. So in the darkness, over the course of like 3 rounds, I knocked this dude out. I manacle him, put a bag over his head, and wrap him all up with rope, right? And the DM is like, do you have all this stuff on you? And I'm like, yeah. Funny story, because we're always doing this, like we always end up like having to capture one guy eventually or something, and we're trying, like we do this enough. I have a sack in my inventory that has, rope in it and a net and manacles. And I labeled the sack. I don't even know if I want to say this. Anyway, because when I made it, it made me laugh. And so I just jokingly named it this. And then the topic of conversation came up yesterday, so I had to explain myself. But the name of it is Kidnap Kit in a Sack. And anyway, it is basically a sack, rope, manacles, and a net. And it's just really nefarious all in its own right, all in one thing. But I kept it all together because that's the stuff we use when we're trying to capture an enemy and interrogate them, or, get someone for a bounty or whatever. You wouldn't believe how many times we've actually captured enemies, like numerous times. So we're getting good at it, which is kind of scary. So, anyway, I just want to confirm that, this was all in jest and funny. And I did this because we do this all of the time to our enemies, people who have wronged us or were hired to investigate, whatever. It came up, the conversation of our alignments afterwards. One of our characters is more of a pacifist, doesn't like hurting people. Like, if she can avoid it, she'll only attack really monsters, but most of the time she buffs us and debuffs the enemies. And she asked why we were kidnapping them or keeping them prisoner. I was like, well, I'd rather not kill them and learn information if I can, because I don't really know they're the bad guys, A. And B, we were also keeping their bodies in our portable hole, which I forgot to mention. Sorry that I casually left that detail out. She's like, why are you keeping the bodies? Because she missed the last session because she had to leave early. I'm like, we're covering our tracks behind us because we don't know how many drow there are here or how many are patrolling. So rather than leave bodies everywhere, almost everywhere we've gone, we've scooped up their bodies and put them in the portable hole, or kept them as prisoners and put them somewhere. And we also use prestidigitation to clean up everything behind us the best we can. So we've been kind of just slowly essentially erasing our existence as we walk through, being low impact, if you will. Now moving on. In my downtime of this last session, we had 8 weeks and we have this portable hole. And I wanted a space in it that could act as not just a portable prison if we have someone of interest. Okay, one time we captured a half ogre and had to walk him through a town of giants. It was kind of a big deal. Walk of shame him, with all of us had him all chained up and roped and manacled. I mean, we were all medium creatures or smaller, so it probably didn't look that great. I thought we were gonna get jumped. So I don't know, maybe if you're trying to collect a bounty on someone, you capture, a big bad, you might need a way to contain them temporarily. My character is kind of over-prepared, so I used a combination of spells, fabricate, shape stone, and wall of stone to build a prison cell inside of our portable hole that has chains and manacles and binds and stuff. And I filled it with water because I can't help someone breathe in there any other way. It's a matter of necessity. I'm not a burglar. I don't really steal stuff, right? We're on this mission. There's a ton of items around that we could steal or potentially take. We have been instructed not to damage this place and try to, prevent as much looting and theft as possible by our benefactors. So I'm just I'm kind of not going to do that. I'm definitely not the kind of person that just steals everything. I have a code, but when it comes to our enemies, I don't know much about drow, so, and we're also trying to cover our tracks, and the more these bodies, if we have bodies, then we can interrogate them later with, speak with dead or whatever. Anyway, anyone we keep alive, we can also ask them questions. And we did that yesterday. So we had an interrogation with this dude after the fight. After this conversation about how I was able to do all that, like a ninja, a halfling ninja in the dark, was able to avoid 3 dudes and capture a guy, subdue and capture him. So anyway, we realized he doesn't speak common. We don't speak undercommon. My son has a telepathy ability through his aberrant mind that he can like look into their minds and speak to them. And I have a new spell that I got with my new feat, my shadeless feat that's detect thoughts. So I can read people's minds as long as we're kind of directing them and asking them questions, right? What windows would go best here? Trying to decide. I hate when I can't pick which windows. Anyway, so we, over the course of like a few minutes, interrogate this drow, try to learn as much as we can from him. You know, what are you doing here? Why were you forging documents? Who's your leaders? How many drow are here? How did you get in here? You know, we learned all this information, but our team is just watching silently on the sidelines while this poor drow that's tied up, bound, gagged, his eyes and face are covered with a sack. He is being interrogated telepathically through his mind, through my son, who I am listening to the guy he's interrogating with detect thoughts and then using message to tell him what else to say or ask or what's going on. It was very, it was an interesting few minutes. And I'm sure the party saw a side of me they'd never seen before. And we're wondering what the hell is going on. I made a point to like mention that like, this is new to me, that my eyes are seeing things they've never seen before. I'm able to see in pitch black. I'm able to see in magical darkness. I'm able to see invisibility, illusions. Anyway, no worries. No worries. Eric, we'll talk to you later. So this interrogation was all within this dude's head, and we learned a good amount of info, but he's also just like an underling without a bigger like piece of the pie, like story-wise. And that makes sense. Like, drow are a matriarchal society. Usually their leaders are, the matriarchs, women who run the show. And most often the dudes are really just kind of more like drones, hive mind kind of thing. They don't necessarily have a shared mind, but they have a very what's the word? Like a solid belief system that they all adhere to. Does that make sense? Wonder if we could do a taller window here. None of those really line up. That is a weird... So I'm thinking I could just run it along this, right? Because there's that window there all the way along that. No, that won't let it move over into that corner. Alternatively, we could do single windows, right? And kind of space them out like that. So it keeps that spacing, the every other, which is actually really nice. Aesthetically pleasing. I don't know. Open to both. Anyway, so we interrogated the guy, got a bunch of information, but also realized that we're probably not going to get all the information we want until we find like a leader, like a lieutenant, or like a, like a general, or maybe like one of the matrons running this operation. So we put this guy in our portable hole prison. I cast water breathing on him as a ritual, and now he can breathe there for the next 24 hours inside the little portable prison cell we have within our portable hole, which Yeah, again, sounds weird, but have you ever all done like in a video game, have you ever done an escort quest? Like, just raise a hands here. Where you have to like escort some very low level character through a very high risk, dangerous situation where they lollygag about like there is not a care in the world. They meander off the path, they walk slowly or like stop. They constantly will yell at you and ask for assistance, but make it much harder on you. That kind of stuff, right? So I'm just kind of like trying to circumvent that by offering accommodations. I already have a way to remove the water from the cell. And like, if I need to, I can like, you know, put a chair in there or make it a little bit more comfy for a bit. I ultimately, though, the water kind of has to stay because that's the only way I can make them breathe for now. I think I want to take this or learn the spell Vortex Warp, or not Vortex Warp, Air Bubble eventually. But Air Bubble, it's like, it's not a ritual. So I'd have to like have it prepared and use spell slots, or I'd have to, what's the word? I'd have to have tons of scrolls made, which basically every 24 hours uses a scroll. Alternatively, I could automate it with like glyphs of warding and that same spell. So set it up to like auto cast an air bubble on the prisoner or guest once every 24 hours. So they never run out of air or something. I don't know. But that again would take a significant amount of resources and time to set up. Irritating. So at the moment, the water is kind of just, hey, hang out in the pool and we'll be back. Like, I don't know. I don't mean to be rude, but yeah, it's like that's probably the safest way to transport anyone and also the safest way to keep a prisoner temporarily. I am really loving the window treatment on that lower level. Sorry, I've been looking at it from lower, or like different angles as we are talking. So I naturally assumed that was a more of a like a wider audience experience that a lot of people had experienced, you know, doing like video game missions where you got to walk through like someone with very little powers or abilities safely through areas. That looks really good. Really good. Okay, so we're now up to this floor. Let's go down here, just double check all this. So I just noticed on Twitch right now, we're at 3,097 followers, right? That means that we're 3 followers away from that next milestone of 3,100. We're very close. If y'all are enjoying the stream and you're not already following, could you do me a huge favor and drop a follow here on Twitch? Of course, any platform, if you're watching, follows, subscribes, likes, shares, very much welcome. We're just trying to hit this particular milestone here. I know a lot of the people watching, though, are likely already following, so no big deal there. But I just thought I'd, you know, reach out and ask. Hopefully we could hit that milestone today. Now, moving on. Interrogated the dude, moved on to the prison jail cell area. Inside, I made I have Nolzur's Marvelous Pigments, and I use them very sparingly because they only last so long. I only have like 2 pots left. I had 3 pots to begin with, and one of them I used like a lot of already. So I'm trying to use them sparingly. Basically, I only use them to make like breaks on things like chains or like gates or like thin lines on a wall to make it crack and break, or like a pinhole on the wall to make a peephole, right? So we'll like peek through and see what's on the other side to get intel. And Like in the jail area, there was a guard and there was a dwarf in there. And we are tasked with finding 5 particular dwarfs and making sure they're safe and getting them out of the city. So this could be one of them. Yeah, I think I got all the windows on the lower level. Let's just check the very bottom level. Just want to make sure inside and out, it's all done. Okay, we've got walkways to the gardens, all the way around the structure. Very cool. And we don't need windows on this outer area because this is wall, right? In fact, I'm just going to fill this so it's not even a question. This is essentially just intended to be a solid structure of ice. Okay, so where were we? This next room, we kind of just bash into the door trying to get a round of surprise on the dude in there the best we can, right? And I've been loaning my familiar all day to our rogue fighter so he can get more chances for sneak attack, because we'll have the owl fly by, do a help action on whoever he's targeting, and then use that as an opportunity for him to get sneak attacks more often, which he took full advantage of that pretty much all day, which was great. I was happy with it. I now have an awakened spell book, which is essentially another familiar that I can cast through and see through at any point in time without even using an action to just like see through and hear through its eyes. And I've been using that a lot. Like I'll cover our back with it, or I'll scout ahead with it, or I'll keep an eye on our prisoners with it while they're knocked out and tied up behind us, somewhere. So it's like we can do several things at once. That, or I use it to scout ahead or get angles on, our different teammates to see how they're doing if we're slightly split up, or like I can't see them around corners, etc. Just gives me a wider view of the battle. And I'm a big tactician, so it really allows me to help like more ways. So I essentially allowed him to use the familiar this way. But in this one time, I said, hey, I'm going to command the familiar on its turn to fly over through the cage doors, the gate, because it's like a prison cell, right? And I want him to go up to the dwarf in there because he looked really bad shape, like low health. And I didn't want him getting hurt or killed by the person in there out of desperation or like a crazy spell or something. So I had the familiar land on him, and I used that range of touch to cast Cure Wounds through my familiar's reaction, right? And so that ended up being my turn for the round. But I healed the guy up like 11 or so hit points, or like it was a good chunk. And that brought him up a good solid amount. And he also was very grateful for that, which kind of, curried a bit of favor from him. Anyway, so this dude, we rescued him. But before we let him out of the cell, we wanted to make sure maybe he was already in jail to begin with from the dwarves, or, like, what if this is a trap? We were just trying to get more information, insight checks, ask him who he was. Once he gave us his name, his name was on the list of dwarves. My familiar is an owl. So my familiar has the flyby feature, which means it can fly by enemies without provoking opportunity. And it has 60 feet of movement or flight per round. So essentially we'll send, him on his turn to fly by the enemy and then back into cover somewhere away from the fight, so he can do that as many times as possible. The idea is to do that every round if possible. But this particular round, I borrowed him to heal that dude, because you can use familiars to cast spells with a range of touch. No, it's like a little owl. Familiars can only be really small creatures, really. There's only like a couple familiars. Most of them are small or tiny, I think. And they only have 1 HP, so I don't think it'd be like a rhino. It's not an animal pet or like a summoned animal. Now I do have, like I said, my Awakened spell book, but it has no HP. They can only get rid of it with Dispel Magic. And I do my best to keep it out of the way. I don't really use it in a way that it's like noticed well. Like yesterday I was watching our back with it and I put it inside of a lamp. So it was sitting inside the lamp and it was like harder to notice that it was there because it's just light, you know? Well, he just perched on his shoulder to, you know, land on him and then heal him and then flew away. Very different with a hippo, yeah. I don't think you can pick a hippo, though. Their CRs are too high for a familiar. Familiars have to be like 1/4 CR creatures or something like that, or 1/8 CR creatures. They're like a cat, like a seahorse, a frog, a weasel, a snake, a spider, a bat. I think an eagle or a hawk or some of the more menacing ones. That said, if you are a warlock or there's like a feat also to increase your familiar like stuff, you can get access to like a quasit or like a couple other things, a method, I think, some more interesting ones. I see it. A lot has happened since the start. Yeah, I've made a lot. Or you mean on this particular map or since Dungeon Alchemist launched? Old daddy. How you doing, by the way? Welcome to the stream. Okay, I need to figure out where to put windows on this space here. These little walkways and this. Thinking. So we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So we could do doubles. That actually looks really good. Oh, real good. Then we can take it and put it there, there. Fortunately, those triple ones are a little bit of a bust. Thinking maybe we could do... How tall do those go? Just the one row, so we could do these. These also could go there or here, maybe. Let's see what that looks like if we go up a floor. Kind of looks neat on that edge there with that one. That one actually looks really cool centered. I think we'll do that for sure. It really does change DA as a whole, huh? Like when you see a multi-level map like this. Let's see what this looks like on here too. We just do all big windows along this edge. Then we can switch these to the smaller ones, like so. And then I'm going to incorporate. The only way to fill these all in, because we don't have a triple ice window, is one of two ways. If I round these corners back, like if I rounded these, then I could do a window on the corner, like a double, right? That's one way. Alternatively, I could do like 3 windows like this, just fill it in entirely. I kind of like the idea of this all being glassed out. It just looks really cool. Because it's like a beautiful view, right? Also heads to guard towers, so it would make sense that guards like on patrol would be able to like, or there's no guards. I guess he has like ice golems. That's what I was going to have. Pretty much the only living thing here is going to be the Ice King. The ice lock. Is that too much? I don't know. I think it looks good. It's the only place I've done that much window. That's what I mean. Like, if you're in this nice, big, tall space, having windows like this makes sense, right? Just a beautiful view. Sorry it takes me so long to make symmetry decisions on my windows, but at the end of the day, I really am a stickler for how things look. I just love everything to kind of have a nice balance to it, especially when you're doing a symmetrical snowflake castle. Like, you kind of want everything to look as symmetrical as possible on all sides. Where will the thermostat control be located? Kaiser, hilarious. How you doing, my friend? Also, Belladonna, how are you? So, we took out the drow. We helped. The dwarf realized we were there helping him, but he was still apprehensive of us. Right? We told him we were sent by a dwarf named Hilda Emberheart to rescue some dwarves here and get them to safety, and also clear the city of drow. He was a little apprehensive of us because we knocked out the drow and didn't kill it. He's like, "You're gonna kill it, right?" And I'm like, well, we need to ask him questions. And also, I think it's probably better to keep as many of them alive as we can as prisoners for now, just in case they have dwarf hostages. Like, we may need to exchange prisoners. So personally, I want to learn information about from them by interrogating them. And I think at the moment they're more valuable alive. And he was like apprehensive about this. And by the way, he thinks I'm a kid. Our DM loves to, any chance he can, like, have other like NPCs act like I'm a child as a halfling. Maybe they haven't seen halflings before. That, or make fun of my size in any way possible. It's a running joke on our table. The DM loves to shred my halfling size often. Anyway, I can't remember a session where my halfling didn't get shredded for his size in some way or another. But my size also has come in handy multiple times. Oh, it's big time halfling microaggressions. But it's mostly all jokes and in fun. But I'm starting to become one of the scariest members in our team. Oh, it's hilarious. I always joke about it and laugh about it and do my best, but I also use it to my advantage. He's like, "Oh, you're so small. These keys are giant. They'd be too big for you to carry." I'm like, okay, well, this table that is giant, I'm behind it as a halfling. I have full cover, right? He's like, "Yeah." So more often than not, I get half cover or full cover, or can hide really easily and get away from things, So it does help quite a bit. And honestly, this last session, having a combination of my new Ring of Invisibility, and I had our workshop make me some Boots of Elvenkind, I was a stealth master. I was so hard to pinpoint, either in the darkness or when I was invisible. Oh my goodness. It is a whole new ball game for me. This is the first time I've really been able to dive into it. And my son and I both have the ability to see in magical darkness. So we are menaces in magical darkness. It was great. It was so fun. It was a fun session just because of that. But basically, I kind of want to, a few things I want to do as our party is to come up with some signals to that I can give off so people know that hey, I'm okay. Alternatively, things like message are a great tool because I can kind of semi-silently communicate with people, or whatever. I can always also talk when I'm invisible and, just tap on them and stuff like that. But it worked out really well being able to sneak along with our Rizzler character who is concealing his identity with, his changeling and magic abilities. And then once the ruse was starting to get sniffed out, I backed him up. And, just being that silent partner that's invisible on the sidelines that can sneak around and maybe cause distractions or see what else is going on while they're distracted talking to him, it worked out really well. It was great. It was fun. Super fun. It was fun. It was fun. Okay, so here is going to be the big windows. We go 1 space, 2 space, red space, blue space. Add all these windows. So Dwarf is apprehensive, but we did heal him. We did save him from the drow. We explained our reasoning behind it and that why we're here. We know his friend. We know the names of his friends we're trying to save. He says he wants to stay in the cell. We have a clear path for him to exit. So we're trying to come up with strategies to get him out. We have really high persuasion on a couple of players, really good charisma on 2 or 3 players in our group. One of them much higher than the rest, but still. We also, have some spells that we could potentially use, but we don't really want to do that and make, him trust us less if it goes bad. Alternatively, we have a way to get a hold of the person who hired us for this quest and maybe get some personal info from them that could confirm to this person, because we made the mistake of not getting like a signet letter or a ring or some kind of code word or something. That's something I need to learn for future reference when we're going to rescue people, to make sure we get their trust, especially to isolationist dwarves who might be xenophobic a little bit, that don't really open their borders to anyone, and they're paying people outside their nation to rescue them because that's how desperate they are. Like, we may have wanted to bring more intel or like some kind of way to identify ourselves with these people, a seal, a stamp, a note, anything. So, but we didn't. That's a problem, unfortunately. That was my mistake. I usually try to think of all those things, and I missed out. So what we do have, though, is our changeling could change into the face of her to show that, hey, we've seen her, we've talked to her, we know who she is, A. Okay, he wouldn't be able to replicate her with this degree of detail unless otherwise. He's like, that just means you could have, whatever, captured her or whatever. You're not going to do that to me, blah, blah, blah. And so he got a little upset. Though we did discover when we came into this area, there's a bunch of statues. In our previous session, we found these statues, and one of our players put a coin on the statue just to as a tribute, like at the pedestal. And then the DM's like, you're awarded with a +1 to your next save or your next roll or save, blah, blah, blah. So we might just go back to the statues and drop a stack of coins and see if that'll help. I don't know. Okay, got all the windows on this side. I think it looks great. Though I want to just check one more thing, because this is a big, big window space. I'm wondering what it'll look like with these intertwined. So there's no space without windows. I'm going to drop into first person and look out this, because I want to see what it's like. Let's drop a token in here. First thing, though, we haven't saved in a hot minute. So we're going to save twice, just to be nice. Just fair warning, there's no light in here at the moment. What the heck is going on there? Oh, no joke. The windows are straight up ice, and the walls too. You can kind of see through them a little bit. That's interesting. I don't know. That's kind of high up. You can't really see what's going on there. It's a little high to tell. I might change that. Stand by just one moment, everyone. Okay, sorry about that. Got a message from the boss, and I just wanted to respond really quickly. I do not like the taller windows now that I've looked through them. So I'm going to delete that one. We're just gonna actually just swap these. At least that one. The center one looks really nice with that pole, so I think I'll leave the center one, but the other ones I'm gonna set as these shorter windows. So it's just more light, yet again, more viewing area. I know this is just silly stuff, but at the end of the day, I like it. But so I have a couple ways that I can get proof from this person. We have sending. One of our players has it always prepared, or like over a long rest, we could swap it in on one of our other, myself or our cleric could also swap it in. So we could reach out to, you know, people at our bastion, including the guy who had introduced us to this dwarf lady or the dwarf lady herself to just kind of get some information to get their trust. Alternatively, we can we'd still have to ping the place, our base, someone there, but we do have access to a teleportation ring at our base, which affords us the ability to summon a caster. And if the caster does come, we could ask them to cast something like Galder Speedy Courier to just like send a trinket of some kind to prove, or like a sealed letter to prove who she is. Something like that. I don't know. That is a long shot at best. I feel like sending is probably just the most direct. If we can get it to work with the allotment of words, probably the best path. But I don't know if it will or not, to be honest with you. Anyway, it is a mess now trying to get this guy's trust. But what I'm thinking is we could go out to those pedestals at the statues and just drop like 30 gold there and kind of cheese our way through this with a persuasion check. Be like, man, I understand your lack of trust in us, but we've been hired by Hilda to not only rescue you, but to clear this town of Drow. And we can't in good conscience leave you here where you could get injured or captured or worse, you know? So will you please let us escort you to the statues, and you can take our rope lines out. We'll give you a tent. We'll give you a bedroll. We'll give you some rations. You can set up camp up above somewhere. And as we send other, people we find, other refugees out, you can be a point of contact for them. You don't have to leave. You'll just be nearby, but outside of the town. So there's less likely of a chance of something happening to them. That way we've kind of fulfilled our duty of getting him out of there. But I don't know. We definitely made a mistake by not bringing something with us. He wants to stay in the jail cell, but we need the jail cells. We're going to start putting drow in there. Every time we can capture one instead of kill them, we're going to put them in there. We're going to just bind them and tie them up and manacle them any chance we get to the bars of the cells and the walls, you know? Here's the thing. We may want to try and broker for peace. It seems like the dwarves and the drow, like, kind of accidentally, like, the dwarves were mining and mined into drow territory, and they didn't know they were there, and the drow took it as an incursion or like an attack, and they pushed back and have been pushing into dwarven territory. May be able to broker a peace. Who knows? I don't know how reasonable these drow are. It's a homebrew world, so things are a little bit different on occasion. I cannot rely on my instincts and what I know about 5e all the time in this campaign. No worries, Constantine. You have a great day, man. And I'm sorry I'm not done with these windows, and I've just been rattling on about my campaign, but hope y'all enjoy it. Honestly, I like telling the storytelling from it because I hope it gives y'all, you know, ideas for your campaigns too. Ah! That spot is a little tricky. Hey, see you later, Constantine. You have a good one. Thank you for being here. So, let's see. We essentially kind of wrapped up the session there. We have a grumpy dwarf who we know is one of the people we need to get out of here, and we need to try and convince him. We have 3 drow prisoners and a bunch of drow loot and bodies. We have a bit more of the picture. Dwarves mined into drow territory. Drow are pushing in. But while the drow are here, they happen to leave some forged documents in a customs office trying to smear an angel who these dwarves really like and revere. So I don't know what's going on here. Seems like there's layers of intrigue here, and I want to get a bigger picture. So at the moment, we have a couple of drow prisoners who we can interrogate, try and learn more, but they seem like underlings. We also have a dwarf who is one of the ones we need to rescue. We've been instructed not to take any magical items or steal anything of the dwarves and not destroy their place as much as possible, which we're trying to not, we're trying to avoid. And most everything that you'd want to steal so far that we've run into is like, not even joking you, has series of traps on it, like preservation runes with disintegration traps on them, stuff that I don't want to mess with. I don't want to waste time trying to disable or waste time trying to disarm because we've been told not to steal it. My character, when he's hired for a job and told not to take anything, he will not take anything. So, yeah, if anything, I want to be considered trustworthy. By, my various job patrons. I don't know. I do think the session was quite interesting, to say the least. We didn't get as far into this, like, in drow incursion, dwarven city that I'd hope in 2 sessions, but we got a lot of fun time together as a group. We are actually kind of testing new things out because we all leveled up and got new spells and abilities, and so I think overall we're trying to like get used to a new flow with all of that. You know, my ring of invisibility, you know, my son casting darkness with me being able to see through darkness and him being, you know, it's new stuff, new territory. So we've been having fun with it for sure. Okay, so this floor below here. Yeah, those are all singles. Ding, 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 ding. Boink, boink, boink. Okay, let's see here. We're going to put ice window there and there on these corner ones. That way we're kind of rescinding from the every space with windows here for privacy as we get up higher. So only a little bit here and there we'll have it. Once we get up to the top level, this is where his room is going to be. So I'm thinking that like there'll probably be less windows here overall. I was also considering raising it up one more with a singular stair here in the center. It goes up to a room where it's like everything is his bedroom. I don't know. This could be the ideal space for a bedroom though, as well. We've put windows on every layer here. Oh, you missed the back of these towers. Let's do it. Wonder if we could put one of these big ones. Does that not work there? Oh my goodness. Come on. Adds a bit to the structure. Hard to decide what windows to pick sometimes. Okay, looks pretty good. Just gonna extend those to the edges right there with single windows, so it's like all the way around. All the way. Glad I'm noticing a few spots that I might have missed earlier, so finish these lower level windows as best we can. Try and finish the top level windows today as well. And then we're probably going to be moving on to that courtyard at the bottom for decorating, like with plants and like what I would consider plants in an ice biome, you know, ice sculptures, crystals. How you doing, Jack? Welcome back. Ooh. Likewise, my friend. Likewise. Hope you're well. Hmm. What do you think of the view from the bed? That'd be fire. Hey, Fox, welcome back. I think I was gonna leave snow golems around, like they're gonna be as guards. It won't be like this big everywhere, but you get the idea. I'm gonna leave them about. Maybe make some snowmen guards too. These snowlums, right? That's a Mac-owned trademark, Mac-owned TM, Snowlum. Just kidding. I'm sure someone else has come up with that before me. It's too good and have not been said before. Let's clear these yards of objects. Yeah, there's no mushrooms or anything out there. Oh, there's a little bit of plant. Does it like grow back like Minecraft or something? Jeez. If there were frozen guests and people who, it would be cool if we had some like bodies that were like ice bodies, you know? But we don't really have much of that. I don't know if there's anything like that on the workshop. I could check, but what I was thinking of is we have like some sculptures and things that are like crystal, like these kind of things that could potentially work in places like this. Just thinking of shrinking this a little bit and just kind of putting it in the corner because it's rounded. Also got these cool like mana crystals that we could set up as like lights throughout this place. They might like snap into places like this, you know? Ah. Not quite like I thought with that one. Hoping to kind of just snap it into there, like on that corner. White or blue would be ideal in a place like this. Just trying to think of items we could put all over these types of crystals as well might be great. And then of course there's all sorts of ice and snow based stuff. Pillars, you know, ice flows, ice lighting and candles and lanterns and sculptures. Oh, that's supposed to be a door. See how that affects. Don't really see it. Other than that little weirdness. But on the other side, you do see it. Dang it. Like that large arch. Alas, we are forced to do this or delete the wall. That's the options we have here. So I could take the wall removal tool and just delete wall there and there. So it's an opening. Also like that. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's nice. Wish we had a double arch that would fit there and didn't go monstrously into the floor above. Fox, what you been up to, buddy? Euphoric Doom, thank you. Much appreciated. How you doing today? Looks good. Okay. Going back down to the base floor here. Oh no. These things keep regenerating? I'm telling you, I just swear I went over this with an eraser. Just comes back like 5 minutes later. So we could do like this fountain type thing. I might even just be able to center it in this area. So it's like you can walk around the whole thing, which also is fun. I was thinking of turning the wings toward the opening there. Let's see here. Let's just type snow and see what comes up. Should we leave like a sled out here somewhere? There's the entrance. Might even expand this out to like a round area, a roundabout. We could put a big sled here. That'd be cool. Anyway. I did that all manually. I wanted it to be this ice instead of ground. Yes, thank you for reminding everyone about the Dam Challenge. For those wondering what that is, we host a bi-weekly map making contest on our streams. And every 2 weeks, we pick a theme, and then our community members are encouraged to use that theme as inspiration to make a map of any shape or size, and then submit that map to the Dam Challenge channel in our Discord. Once you do that, your map, as long as you follow all the qualifying, rules, you're entered for a chance to win a $10 Hero Forge gift card. And if you're the winning map, your map is first featured on the stream during our Dam Challenge segment, as well as it's highlighted in our weekly newsletter, the Cartomancer Chronicles, which will a new edition will be releasing today. So anyway, get a chance to kind of, you know, show your skills, show off your map making prowess and flex your map making muscle on the cartographer community, but also at the same time, you know, try and essentially putting yourself out there, challenging yourself to be putting yourself to new heights, trying new things. And as the theme is brew, you use that as inspiration to make any map shape of any shape or size, as long as brew is the kind of core for the inspiration. So it could be like a potion brewing, it could be a witch's cottage with a, you know, a big cauldron, it could be a school that does potion brewing, it could be a brewery for, you know, alcohol, it could be troubles of brew, it could be any number of things using brew as inspiration. Okay. We got a lot of done so far. I really do want to figure this part out, though. So I think what I'll do is, for symmetry purposes, why is it jumping all around there? So that one was centered there. That one's not. Fun. Kind of like it further back. That looks pretty good, though. Let's do some... What are these ice pillars look good? No, that won't look... So these are kind of neat on top of this stuff, and just kind of put them all over. Trying to decide. Wonder where that'll snap. Nowhere. Duh. I'm gonna change this to like regular light. I'm not gonna lie, that extreme blue light's starting to give me a headache over time. Cannot seem to grab that after I position it there. Oh, it's kind of one and done here if I do this. Even floating, it's really hard to grab. Jeez. I cannot grab that. Okay. I guess the colliders for these are just super overbearing. Interesting. Well, that's concerning. Ugh. Ugh. Excuse me. Need to take a quick break. Gotta get up and stretch, fill my water up. Be right back. Okay. Sorry about that, everyone. I just a couple things kind of happened simultaneously there, and yeah. Oops, wrong tab. Had to deal with it, so just took me a couple of minutes. What'd I miss? Just kidding. So I really want to use these here. I got an idea. We're gonna scale them up. This castle's big, right? You can make these lights bigger. Just add some lights here on the entry. Because why not? Oh, it looks pretty dope. It's cool. They want to get rid of these little ones here. Facebook stream stop? It happens sometimes. Earlier, Steam crashed for a bit and came back, but it's whatever. Could be for any number of reasons. Weird. No notifications from them saying there's any problems with the stream or anything, so... Yeah, I didn't get a notification about a, like a copyright strike or anything like that, so it's probably just their service, I'd imagine. That's all. But thank you for pointing it out. It's good to know. Atlam, as always, you're amazing. Thank you. Okay. Where were we? We need to continue these little garden areas. I was thinking of putting something here, like a statue or some crystals or something. Something. What kind of plant life could we put here too that could make sense? We could do some like interesting looking fey plants and change their colors. Like something like this. And nope, that one doesn't have a color shifting. Darn it. Some items do, some don't. But if we could get it into like a more blue... Maybe like that. That's exactly what it came out as. Or these like fey bushes. Also, any plant with a color changer, you can also do black or white, which often fits really good in a place like this. This blue looks really good too. It's a shrubbery. You shall bring us a shrubbery. White cactus. That's pretty cool, actually. I gotta find a plant that would look really cool as like an ice version of itself. Ooh, these could look neat too. Just like in their static look. Like stock, they look dope. Does this have a cut? Nope. Dang, I was hoping, because that one looks interesting. Okay, let's see if we can get a cactus. Is an ice cactus. That looks so out of place. We are the knights who say... Nee! 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 I can't click that once it's over there. Once it's there, it's donezo. Dunzo. This could be cool. Shrink it down a little bit. Something like that. The junk is... Maybe it's my mouse click that's going bad. Could also sink it down a little bit, so it's just like that crystal part. We could just put a patch of these bad boys over there. Sink them down. Or I was thinking the icicles. Icyclists. So we can like put some of these in places. Heck, we can even have them coming out of like the top of the roofs and spots. That cool. Like that? When I was a young child, I loved making like noise imitation sounds. Like I kind of like thought Michael Winslow was really cool, but before that I really enjoyed like mimicking sounds. So like I don't know if y'all remember like car like signals, blinkers in the 80s and 90s, they had that very distinct like click. Something like that. It's been a while since I've heard one like that. Yeah, that's Michael Winslow. That's who I said. Yeah, I enjoyed him quite a bit growing up. Thinking of doing like a little icicle garden here. I might make something custom, like whip it up. An icicle topiary, if you will. Looks pretty cool. Trying to make it look like an ice flower a little bit. Like... Can't click anything. Too big. It's also my fault. Goodness, I had it at like 200% basically. I'm super cool. Okay, can't click anything. It's kind of cool. Or am I just like on my own thinking this looks good? So my options are like abstract ice sculptures, or more like, I guess you could call these like more simplistic when it's just pointing upward, you know? Alternatively, I have like, let's see, snow statues, I think there are. Could probably drop one of these like ice statues in the corners here. It might work. I might be able to raise him up a bit. Yellow. Let's fire. Liked it before when you could see his tail up on it. Then his legs don't appear to be resting on anything. These ones. It's only these ones. Can't win. Pretty much ledges only. An interesting thought. Darn it. Maybe Hendrik. The tail leaks through every time, though. For sure. I'd be open to it. Oh man, I gotta say though, this is coming along. Made some serious progress today. The windows are all done. Started decorating the yard here, and a little bit of exterior decoration as well, like some lighting, some statues. I think what I'll probably end up doing is ice sculptures around throughout these areas and make it feel like kind of like an ice garden, snow garden, you know, like with some features here and there, a statue here and there. I was thinking of putting statues out in these corners too, and maybe a walkway through this. I don't know. We'll figure it out. And then lastly, we're going to have to go through floor by floor and add features, lights, decor, you know, different things. I do wish I was building this with the new update because I'd have access to like rugs and stuff that are like extendable, so I could do like runners and like, I don't know, just be fun. Anyway. I'm kind of like concerned with the amount of ice assets I have to work with, but I'm not going to use only ice and snow assets going on inside. I just kind of wanted that aesthetic outside mostly. Inside will be a variety of normal items mixed with some of those like ice and snow type items. So we'll probably add some normal decor and items here and there because we just simply don't have enough to use those. But at the end of the day, I really think there's only going to be one living resident here, the, you know, ice lock or ice king or whatever it is here. Most everything here will be like constructs that he's made from snow and ice. This is quite literally a fortress of solitude. You know how I like rounded out these staircase like things? I'm considering doing something like that for these too, rounding them. It'd just save a lot of space upstairs and it'd look really cool banister wise. But I haven't done it before, so we'll just have to take a look and see. Oh man, I just realized I haven't saved in a hot minute. Please don't crash. Please don't crash, video game. We've been like looting all the drow weaponry we found, and they had filled an armory with a bunch of drow stuff because they've been kind of like taking it, or they filled up a dwarven armory with a bunch of stuff that was drow stuff. We left all the dwarven stuff there, and then we took all the drow stuff. And anytime we take out a drow or like capture one, we take their stuff, focuses, weapons, whatever, because and armor, because we're trying to like equip armor to all our guys in our bastion or sell it, one or the other. Oh, that looks really good. I'm glad I went with the lower windows. That one here is fine because it's like you see this. Really, that's what it would be, is a rooftop there. So it's good that it's up a little bit. This looks really clean. Look through. Ooh, yeah, not gonna lie, I like that. I like that. Might even end up just doing windows all around this tower because it is like a watchtower. Anyway, this looks really cool. It's a vibe. Let's head upstairs. And of course I'm too tall. Even as like the halfling or gnome, I'm too tall. I need to remember to bug Wim about this. We need to reduce all the tokens by like 30% so they're able to traverse stairs. It's a quality of life thing that needs to be done for spine, like spindle stairs like this. Oh no, I have it on the wrong side. My bad. Let's move this wall right here. Delete it. Deleted. but it's also good I'm doing this because I need to like check this actually works. Like it's traversable, navigable. Look at that, like you don't even get a view of anything. Might just leave that sealed, but it's also kind of nice to be able to just get the light. Light. That bed looks good. So I'm thinking next stream we'll focus on the exterior here, and then we'll start going through and adding lighting outside and inside the structure, and then we'll start decorating. A lot of progress today, though. All the windows are pretty much done. Made some adjustments to these paths here instead of the arches. We our next stream working on this map will be next Monday, but our next stream we have 2 streams a week. We have 2 different themed streams. So every Monday is Mapmaker Monday, Rainbow Man, and every Saturday is what's called the Dungeon Alchemist map making show. So that show is a variety stream. So every Saturday we have one of these streams, and they feature an assortment of different segments. So there's segments like this upcoming stream has a segment dedicated to our bi-weekly map making contest called the Dam Challenge. The Dam Challenge, essentially we pick a theme, which the current theme is brew, and then we encourage members of our community to use the time allotted, which is roughly 2 weeks, to make a map of any shape or size using brew as inspiration. And then they submit that map to the Dam Challenge channel, which, you know, as long as it's submitted before the deadline and all the rules pinned in the channel are followed, then we assess it for, basically we judge the maps. Sorry, I hate to say it like that, but we judge the maps, pick a winner, and then the winning map is the first map showcased during the Dam Challenge segment on the Dungeon Alchemist map making show. We have other segments, one's dedicated to Q&A. So if you have any questions, need guidance with your map making, you can tune in during the stream and ask me for like a live tutorial walkthrough showing you how to do things. We have segments dedicated to showcasing community maps shared on the workshop or assets shared on the workshop. And then on the opposite Saturdays of the Dam Challenge, in the weeks, when people are making their maps, we usually have a guest on the stream, invite them on and have an interview with them. So it really just depends on the stream day, but alternating Saturdays have an interview or the Dam Challenge. And then all the other segments are pretty much normal. Sorry for that long-winded explanation there. How's everyone faring in the summer heat? It's I know it's pretty hot all over at the moment. By the way, if you're not already, I highly recommend joining our Discord. If you're not familiar with Discord, it's essentially like it's a chat tool or a forum chat tool where you can localize around interests. So we have one set up for our community for Dungeon Alchemist, a server where our community members can join in and get support 24 hours a day, ask questions of, of us, the staff, or get, support from myself, moderators, or other community members. There's sections where you can chat with other GMs. There's literally over a millennia of combined experience with DMs and GMs in our server. So it's a great place to bounce ideas off of people for encounters, homebrew, stat blocks, ideas for your, upcoming adventures and stories. I've seen DMs and GMs chat in there for hours and come up with ideas for players. It's great. We also have, areas dedicated to off-topic discussion. So if you just want to chat and share memes or whatever, bear in mind it is a family-friendly server. So, there's people of all ages there. So not, anything untoward going on there. It's a very chill and fun place to be. Whether you need support with Dungeon Alchemist, you just want to vibe and chat with other DMs. Maybe you want to promote your upcoming Dungeon Alchemist related content or streams. So if you're sharing maps on a Patreon, or you have a Dungeon Alchemist map making stream, or a campaign you stream and you're using Dungeon Alchemist maps, you can use our self promo section to promote your upcoming content, as long as it's Dungeon Alchemist related. So if there's Dungeon Alchemist related content in it, it can be shared there. Aside from this, our Discord is a great place to keep tabs on upcoming events, including streams or special events and giveaways and the like. So if you tune into our Discord, make sure you check out our events section. Aside from this, we are on all major social media platforms. We're also on Reddit and Blue Sky, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, etc. I'm sure many of you are watching us from those various platforms at the moment, so no bigs there. So, if you need assistance between sessions, everyone, feel free to ping us on any of those platforms. Let us know, and we'll do our best to provide you guidance, including, Steam, Reddit, Discord, wherever. Okay? Oh, Lethris, how you been, man? It's been a long time. Hope you're well. How's things? Oh, it's so hot. I bet. Are you, I know it's so hit or miss over there if people have the air conditioning or not. It's a combination of it's central air is usually not an option with a lot of the infrastructure and homes there. But window ACs or sometimes those mini splits are an option. I've seen those used to great effect. But I know some people can't necessarily get them or use them in their towns because their local infrastructure can't always handle it in some of those places. I've heard at least. It's hit or miss. I hope you're doing your best to stay out of the heat. So it's like they call those what do they call them here? Swamp coolers is what they call them here. So like an evaporative cooler. So essentially it fills with water and then it uses evaporative cooling to cool the house, but it can also make it a little bit more humid in the process. But that's cool. You fill it with ice and water and it does it. That's neat. Very cool. I hope you're staying cool, my friend. Ugh. Wish.com aircon. Oh no. I mean, does it work a little bit? So in the US, a lot of people have pickup trucks. It's pretty common. And when I was growing up, I was pretty active in the Boy Scouts. I don't know. Some of you may be familiar with the Boy Scouts. Some of you aren't. It's like it's just a youth group for young boys to hang out and learn about, self-sufficiency, survival, camping, wilderness stuff, fire starting, crafts, all sorts of stuff. Anyway, but it is, I spent some time in the Boy Scouts in my youth, quite a bit. And we'd go on these trips to go camping as our groups, as our, a Boy Scout group. And it'd usually be 2 trucks full of, our scout leaders driving and maybe 1 extra scout leader and then a bunch of boys packed in all the spaces, or a big van as well, because we had a big troop of 15 to 20 boys. And often the trucks would be packed with gear in the back, but our scout leaders have camper trailer covers because they'd want to sleep in them when we were out there, or cover it so the goods wouldn't go anywhere. And so one of the times we had 2 or 3 boys sitting in the back in the camper area because there was a seat back there with seat belts that they had. So they're like, yeah, this is safe in the back of the truck. And it was hot back there, super hot, because there's no air conditioning back there. There's in the front cab, right? And honestly, everyone up there was cool, but everyone in the back was dying. And so we MacGyvered up a solution. We stopped at a Walmart and Walmart's have like everything. We went inside and we got an air tube, right? And the air tube, we put it in between the truck window, the back window of the truck's cab, and then the cab of the camper, and we inflated it and made like a membrane that sealed, so not any like extra air was getting in from outside as much. It also made it way quieter, but it allowed cool air to get back. And then we, on one of the sides, like we would like string a towel that we would wet in like our coolers back there that were full of like ice that was melting. So we'd wet the towel and hang it over it. And then they had a fan that would blow through as well. And it would blow over that towel, that wet towel, and it would send so much cool air into the back. So there was like a little mini fan that they had clamped onto the back of the truck, and it was just going back and forth like this, blowing air back to us. And it was plugged into the front truck, like, you know, like cigarette lighter thing. It was a very, very like MacGyvered, like Wish air conditioner, but it worked. It was awesome. Instantly, it was like 10 degrees cooler in there. I think I want to put some like pillars, but then it would be like in the middle of that. That's weird. I don't know. You know what? Ice is cool. It'll suspend itself and its disbelief that it'll fall. Lethris, though, it's good catching up with you, and stay cool, my friend. I hope you do. Gotta ask, is it normal? Like, do cars normally have air conditioning in them, like transportation and stuff, or like buses or like trains and stuff there? And then on top of that, do a lot of businesses have it? Like if you go to like a grocery store or like a, you know, like a mall or a theater or something like that, do they typically have air conditioning? Like on average, if you went to like a corner convenience store or like a gas station or like a movie theater or anywhere, like, you know, you're expected to maybe pay to be there or buy something, would you usually be air conditioned is what I'm asking? Or is it like 50-50? I'm so genuinely curious about this topic. I find it intriguing. Okay, you have aircon for your computers, but not for yourselves? Heck, I'd be more inclined to shop in a place that has air conditioning, you know? Just makes your life that much better while you step inside for a few minutes. So, like, I mean, your cars have it. A lot of businesses have it. It just seems like it's not normalized to have it in your home, which it's like, why not? It's your personal space. You should be comfortable. I feel bad. It's just not as like, I don't know. Is it like a taboo thing to have it in your own home? Yeah. I mean, just use it those 2 months of the year, right? I don't know, man. It's only just going to get hotter. So like my air conditioning, I don't run it the cold months. I just turn it off, cover it up, you know, as a cover for the window ones. Our central air conditioning, it doubles as a heater during the winter months. So when it's not a cooler, it's a heater. It does both. A lot of them in the US do that here. Now, there's plenty of places in the US people don't have central air. Like, it's pretty common, in especially like back east or on the coastal towns where there's like, you know, the ocean or a river tends to make the like regional air a lot cooler, right? By like several degrees. Like, we stayed in an Airbnb once in California at like Newport Beach, and the Airbnb didn't have air conditioning. We're like, oh, you don't have air conditioning? They're like, no, you won't need it. It's really nice and cool. I don't know. I wanted it. I was pretty hot. I run pretty hot, and in humid places, oh man, I get so sweaty. But the thing is like, I get like the vibe they were going for, and you know, a lot of older homes like that don't have air conditioning built in. It have to be added after the fact, which is a lot of like remodeling to consider, or like a mini split. I don't know. If people overheat, they die. If a computer overheats, it's like, you know, you have backups of data. Like, I just think like in the ever-changing world we're in, it might be a good idea to consider. Like my landlord at my so I lived in southern Utah, and the home I lived in had central air, right? And it would get up to like 105, 110 during the summer there. Okay, it's a requirement to have air conditioning in modern homes and to keep it maintained for your tenants. Okay, so we, like, the air conditioner went out one summer, and we asked the landlord, hey, can you get this fixed, repaired? And she's like, well, in my home here, I don't have air conditioning. You'll be just fine. And I'm like, no, we won't be. It is so hot here. My dogs are panting nonstop and probably will need to go to the vet if this keeps up. My items in my home are melting. Okay, I am dripping sweat. My computer is overheating and shutting off. I can't even work. That's how hot it is here without air conditioning. And I think it's actually the law that you need to fix it. Okay, so we had her fix it. And then within 6 months of that, she put the home up for sale. It was rough. Like, it stunk. Because she was like my mom's friend, and we were renting from her because we thought it'd be nice. Like renting from someone we knew. No. Anyway, she was very stingy about replacing the air conditioner. And I know they can get expensive, but like it was a requirement. Here in Vegas, it's the same thing. It's just too hot to not have it. If it's not working in your homes over like 80 degrees during the summer on the thermostat, they have to bring temporary units until they fix the central one. So you like get like rental units brought out to your home. And the temporary ones, you can run them out like windows or mount them in windows and stuff. But they have like little ones that you can roll around, and it has like a vent thing. You can run out almost any window shape because it does vertical or horizontal. Or even like you can run it out like a dryer vent, or like a you know, if you have like a water heater, they sometimes have like vents at the top and an offshoot for them. You can run it to that. It's pretty nice. Anyway, air conditioning. Sorry about the random conversation. I'm not trying to like say, hey, you need this. I just like, dang, man, take care of yourself. Be safe. And I won't judge you for having it. I mean, your power bill might a little bit, but but dang, good to have you back, Lethris. All right, everyone, the stream's run a little long today. We're going to wrap it up. Make sure if you enjoyed the stream that you hit that like, follow, subscribe, share. That way you can find us in the future. And remember, we'll be back on Saturday with the Dungeon Alchemist map making show. That's 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, or 7 p.m. UTC is when we start. And that runs for about 2.5 hours. Let's see here. Oh, nice, Lord Lethris. What kind of things did you have in mind? I actually have a whole series of like tutorials I'm planning because we're adding this new feature to Dungeon Alchemist in the future. Not like right this moment, but it's called Dungeon Alchemist Academy. That'll be like built right into it, and it's something you can just open up and click. And I think also various items will have tooltips that reference to it. So it's like if you want to learn how to use something, it's all built right in. Stuff. Nice, Lord Lethris. Nice. Well, if you ever stream some Dungeon Alchemist or post some videos, feel free to share the links in our self-promo section, so you know we know you're live or that you've posted content, so I can try and swing by and show my support, and others can try and, you know, come by and say hello. Wish you the best, my friend. You have a lovely day, and same to everyone here. Thank you for being here very, very much. Appreciate you all. I hope you have an amazing, rad, fantabulistic Monday. I have a little bit of work to finish today, including some final touches to the Cartomancer Chronicles in my rough draft, and then I'm going to put it in a final draft and publish it so y'all can take a look at it later today, hopefully by this evening. Aside from that, I hope you enjoy your Monday. Have an amazing week. And I expect a video or two from me this week as well. One that's like a tip and trick video, and one that's like a small announcement for our Discord community. Okay? Thank you, everyone, for being here. I'm going to run a quick Dungeon Alchemist themed ad, and we'll wrap up the stream. Okay, we'll see you next time I give a damn, all right? Back out. Bye.
You stand before the long, dark road to the fabled realm of Goyak-Ta, and before...
What do we see?
I don't know, a goblin.
I kill him!
But before she does, I, Gilliam of Firth, demand to know the goblin's name.
Hi, my name is Woblin.
Where do you live there, Woblin?
I don't think that's relevant.
Well, but I, Gilliam of Firth, demand to seek the goblin's abode.
Clever, find family, kill entire bloodline. I like it.
Seriously, we're doing this? Okay, well, won't be needing that anymore, will I?
Ever get caught by your players with your pants down? Dungeon Alchemist lets you create wonderful maps for any encounter in seconds.
Oh, Woblin, that's a very impressive cheese collection you've got there.
Yeah, it is quite impressive, yes. But you know what's more impressive? This map I have to the
Fabled realm of Goyak-Ta. Please take it and leave. Close the door behind you.
Mr. Woblin, I cannot help but notice that you have a secret tunnel underneath your cabinet. Care to explain?
Download Dungeon Alchemist, the AI-powered mapmaker, on Steam today.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. You have an amazing Monday, and we'll hopefully see you on Saturday. See you next time I give a damn. Back out. Bye.